HarperCollins presents The Walnut Tree, Women, Violence and the Law, A Hidden History, by Kate Morgan. Read by Kristin Atherton. Author's Note. The illustration on the cover of the physical book is taken from Henry Mayhew's London Labour and the London Poor, published in 1851. This was a study of the lives of the working classes of London in the mid-19th century, based on extensive interviews conducted by Mayhew. One of the groups he spoke with were the patterers, who scraped a living by selling cheap news sheets and pamphlets on the streets, usually featuring notorious crimes, particularly murders. In Mayhew's book, one of the graphic illustrations from a patterer's pamphlet was reproduced. It depicted the murder of a young woman named Jael Denny in Essex in 1850. Jael was heavily pregnant when her lover murdered her. She had gone to meet him believing that he wanted to discuss marriage. The illustration appears to be the only image of Jael ever made. In an interview with Mayhew, the patterer explained that he had nicknamed his new waistcoat Jael Denny, as sales of the sheet about her murder had paid for it, and after all, a man must show a sense of gratitude in the best way he can. However, he bemoaned the fact that he had not sold as many as he had expected due to inclement weather impacting on his sales. Nevertheless, the patterer told Mayhew that he generally expected brisk business from grisly reports of the murders of young women. In response, Mayhew observed that until the respectable press becomes a more healthful public instructor, we have no right to blame the death hunter, who is but an imitator, a follower. And indeed, what follows here contains some discussion of violence and sexual assault in historical cases. The retelling of these incidents is based on extensive research into contemporary accounts and sources, but do bear in mind the nature of this content while listening. Prologue. A considerably less heinous offence. At the Manchester Assizes on Monday, a man named Matthews was brought up for trial on a charge of wife murder at Bacup. On the night of January the 1st, when the world was ushering in a happy new year, there were sounds of screaming and shrieking, and in the morning it was found that Ruth Matthews had bled to death from the kicks which her husband, the brute Matthews, had inflicted upon her. The jury found the prisoner guilty of manslaughter, whereupon the judge, Mr. Commissioner Williams, sentenced him to 2 months' imprisonment. Is there no means by which the force of public opinion can be brought to bear upon the conduct of Mr. Commissioner Williams, who esteems the crime of wife murder as being on a level with that of stealing a purse, and a considerably less heinous offence than that of shoplifting? Women's Gazette and Weekly News, the 9th of March, 1889. On Monday, Mr. Bradlaugh, MP for Northampton, called attention in the House of Commons to the sentence passed upon John Matthews of Bacup, who kicked his wife with the result that she bled to death. To Bacup people and others acquainted with this man's history, 2 months for such a crime certainly looks, on the face of it, a serious miscarriage of justice, and it can hardly be said that the answer given by the Home Secretary to Mr. Bradlaugh materially alters the complexity of the matter. Bacup Times and Rossendale Advertiser, 16th of March, 1889. We are very concerned that some sentences received by men who kill their female partners or ex-partners do not reflect the seriousness of domestic abuse, nor do they reflect the fact that these homicides often follow a period of prolonged abuse. There is abundant research to demonstrate that many apparently sudden femicides are in fact the culmination of a hidden history of control and abuse. The sentence handed down to Anthony Williams was a clear example of this. He was sentenced to just 5 years for manslaughter of his wife on the grounds of diminished responsibility, the judge finding for no apparent reason except that his behaviour was unexpected, that his responsibility was very low. Joint letter on domestic homicide, from Victims Commissioner and Domestic Abuse Commissioner to Home Secretary, Lord Chancellor and Attorney General. 5th of March.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?